What's up, everybody? How you doing? Welcome back to Shop Talk here at 31 Records, my little record store in Houston, Texas. Today's episode is going to be kind of weird. Actually, I want to play something. This is a band called The Anchor. They're from Austin. Really, really good band. If you're not a fan, if you're not familiar with them yet, go check out The Anchor. If you're a fan of like hot water music, Leatherface type music, go check out this band. They are quite good. Okay, so today on this episode, it may end up being, let's see. Okay, they literally kicked me out of here like at 6 o'clock on the dot. I'm gonna try to read this Nardwar interview with Henry Rollins from Flipside magazine, February 1998, dude. It's kind of long, so I may have to pause and go sit in the car and finish it. So, you know, professionalism. But hanging out with Colin over here, he was playing with his wiener a minute ago, and so we're just doing weird wiener stuff at the shop. And no, we were just hanging out. He's got to doctor up his drum head. We're going to use some Posca pins to do it. Well, he's going to do the. I was going to do it, but he didn't bring the drum head with him. Just kidding. He brought the drum head with him. I just didn't do it. So, but yeah, Nardwar, the Human Serviette versus Henry Rollins from 1998. Also, don't forget, like the video, subscribe to the channel. We just passed 10K. Crazy, bro. Also, I actually happen to have Colin's shirt right here. So we have these shirts now. If you want, I've only got like 38 of them left, something like that. They're on our web store, which is linked in the description. If you don't see the link, let me know. I'll put it in the comments for you. $20. I'm not, you know, shipping and tax is not something I don't make any money off that. $20 for the shirt. But yeah, shout out to Dead and Buried Inc. for making those for me. If you have merch needs, hit up Dead and Buried Inc. Also linked in the description for 10% discount if you tell them you got it through the Punk Rock Review. So on these videos I film on my phone. I don't have the ability to put the little ad in here. So all right, dude, Nardwar. I can't stand Nardwar, dude. This guy drives me absolutely nuts, man. And I know people love him, so I respect what he does. And also I do similar stuff with bands, so I get it. He's way better at it than me, so I have no qualms with that. His like personality is like nails on a chalkboard, but I'm probably the same way to some people. People probably think I suck, so it is what it is. He does make pretty good content. I do feel bad when people like give him shit though. Like I've seen, what was that band? Do you remember what band it was?
It's Sonic Youth.
Was it Sonic Youth?
Blur.
Dude, Blur. It was Blur is what I'm thinking of. That is whack, dude. Like, me not liking him much doesn't mean I would be anything other than respectful if I met the guy. He's, like, kind of a legend in this field, right? Shout out Nardwar. Fuck it, dude. I'm a fan now. It is what it is. All right, cool. Yes, I admit it. I once stared at Henry Rollins as he walked into a frame shop on Hollywood's Sunset Strip. No words were exchanged between us, however. Henry seemed mad. I later learned he broke a windshield over my superfan staring. It's been over 2 years since the frame shop incident, but I'm happy to say I finally had a chance to speak with Henry Rollins when he showed up in Vancouver to film Welcome to Paradox for the Sci-Fi Channel. And it goes a little like this. Anyways, let me turn this volume down a little bit because I'm hearing it so loud that... Hold on. Yeah, dude, this band's so good. Very horrorcore. I really enjoy that band quite a bit. Nardwar, who are you? Henry Rollins. My name is, in fact, Henrietta Rollins. Nardwar. Henry, I think I know you. Oh, I see. You're a character now. Nardwar. No, I'm not a character. Actually, I ran into you in Los Angeles outside of the Guitar Center. I think you were returning a frame. You were in Carmen Gia with a beautiful woman, and I saw you go into a frame shop on Sunset. Do you remember that at all? Rollins. What was the one where was that the one where I punched the windshield out? Nardwar. No, you didn't punch out the windshield, but you did jam on the dashboard. Rollins. Yeah. Nardwar. Do you remember seeing me, or does that happen a lot of times? Rollins. No, that was the incident where I punched the windshield because this person kept staring at me, and I got frustrated, and I actually broke that windshield and had to pay for it and drop another one in. That was my friend Peggy. Nardwar. Well, I'm sorry if I caused that to happen. but I was just, like, looking through the corner of the window. Rollins. Yes, I know. Nardwar. I was at Guitar Center and I did not expect to see... what were you getting framed there, Henry? Yo, what's up with the way he talks? He'll be in the middle of a sentence and just change subjects. Like, this guy, bro, this guy. Interesting, dude. Rollins, I forget. Nardwar, it was a picture or something? Rollins, yeah. Nardwar, so what are you doing here? Like, I can see in Los Angeles that's kind of like a freak show to meet you here in Los Angeles, but what are you doing here in Vancouver, in my town? Vancouver, British Columbia, Canada. Rollins, I came here to meet you. Nardwar, so Henry, you're doing Welcome to Paradox. What is Welcome to Paradox all about? Rollins, isn't the show called Betaville? Nardwar, no, I think it's called Welcome to Paradox. Rollins, okay, well, they offered me this nice part in one episode, and I looked at the script and I liked it, and they said I could have the part, so I said okay. Nardwar, excuse me, Mr. Nardwar, sorry. Anyways, this particular episode is titled All Our Sins Forgotten. Right. Nardwar, and do you realize that Ron Reyes lives in Vancouver? Yes, says Henry. Nardwar, he's one of the original Black Flag singers, like yourself, and he's a born-again Christian. Rollins, well, we all end up something. Which is true, we do all end up something. So does food. At my house, we call food pre-poop sometimes. It's funny, we have children. Nardwar, but I thought that was kind of neat. All sins forgotten. And Ron Reyes, and you're in Vancouver, British Columbia. Rollins, you know the way they could put that together, like, it's just amazing, because I would have never been able to piece that together like that. Nardwar, well, Henry, also, you were in the movie Johnny in. Rollins, Johnny in. Nardwar, Johnny Mnemonic, written by William Rollins. Right. Nardwar, Gibson, a Canadian who lives in Vancouver, British Columbia. This dude with his fucking coincidences, bro. It's so weird.
You gotta think about his speech pattern. Remember, he stops so the other person can say. That's why the article looks weird in writing.
No, it's weird when he says it on video. I know how he interviews people. I watch them. I'm reading it and I'm thinking, like, this guy's fucking weird. He's always like, toot doodle loot loot. And then they're just like, please. Yeah, and then they're like, stop. And he's like, no, I'm not going to stop. And they're like, please stop. And he's like, no, I'm going to invade your personal space until you do the doot for me. And then they go, doot. And he's like, nope, not good enough. Doot doodle loot doot. And then they go, fuck you. And he's like, oh, that's what I would say. Shout out Nardwar. Okay, sorry. Nardwar asks him, and in that movie, talking about Johnny Mnemonic, what did you play? Rollins, I played a scientist. Wow. Boy, did they miss that one. Rollins, a scientist? Come on, bro. Although, I don't know what he's qualified for. Maybe he is a fucking scientist. Henry Rollins, are you a scientist? With that giant butt chin of yours, buddy? Probably not. He's an okay actor, though. Plays a good bonehead. Why does he always end up in roles like that? Henry Rollins. He always ends up in roles where you're like, kinda. Bro, there's so many of them. It's weird. Henry, what are you doing, man? Why? Why those roles? Or is that all you're getting offered? Because I guess if I got offered 10 roles, 9 of them were like that, and I took them all, I would have that same, like, weird thing where, like, everybody thought I was a fucking right-winger. Oh, he's getting close to kicking us out of here, bro. 12 minutes, he's going to come over here and tell me to fuck off. Straight up, dude. Anyway, sorry, guys. Nardwar. See, when I get people over here, I talk and I can't focus on what I'm doing because I have ADHD. It's okay, but it's a thing.
I'm like the talk show person that sits off to the
Yeah,
side.
you give me my Andy to my Conan.
Yeah.
Let's go, dude. I should get you a chair to sit over here. Next time I'll do that. That's a good idea, actually. Nardwar asks him, and what have you played also? It's either a cop or a scientist, isn't it? Scientist or doctor for a lot of the roles? Rollins, cops and scientists and thugs. Nardwar, and in Vancouver, BC, there's Rollins trucks. There's Rollins trucks. Now, why did you name yourself Rollins? It wasn't for Rollins trucks at all, was it, Henry? Actually, it was Rollins trucks and security systems, because I like mobility and I like security. Nardwar, why do you think that people think you hate Vancouver or Winnipeg? Because people think you hate Vancouver or Winnipeg. People think that you hate Vancouver or Winnipeg. God damn it, he said it 3 times. Dude, am I this annoying to people?
No.
I might be.
I don't know. You don't do those.
Yeah, at least to some people I gotta be, right? It's alright. It's okay. Rollins responds, because I used to very much. Because I would come up here and you guys would be a shitty, spitting, heroin shooting, equipment stealing audience who we weren't allowed to kill. So after I got out of Black Flag and I didn't have to come here anymore, when I became the boss of the system, I stopped coming here so I didn't have to get spat on and have my equipment ripped off by idiot punk rock junkies. So I gave the city about 7 years to cool off, and I came back and I found it a very wonderful place now. Nardwar. So it's no longer Drunkville to you. Rollins. Nope. Nardwar. Because some of the media was quite harsh on you. I noticed in Vancouver I picked up a zine from 1985 called Generic Drivel. Nardwar then shows him the zine, and in it it's something called Black Flag Scorecard. And it was like a little scorecard here where it says the audience versus Black Flag. Middle fingers for punks, insults, objects thrown, mean faces, general ridicule. Like, they were kind of insulting. Did this happen a lot? Like fanzines of the time kind of making fun of Black Flag gigs? Because I thought maybe this is what happened, what helped add to your Vancouver hatred. Rollins. I never read any of those fanzines, really. Nardwar. So you never saw any? There's no other Black Flag scorecards about then? Nardwar shows Rollins the Black Flag scorecard again. Rollins. Wow, I've never seen that photo either. You know why I had my wrist wrapped like that? Nardwar. No. Rollins. That is from punching a guy. Long, silent pause. Appropriate, I would say. Very appropriate pause there. Nardwar. There's also some quotes from the stage listed in Generic Drivel where you said from the stage, quote, if I got a penny for every time you little boys beat off, I could buy this fucking country. Is that one of your lines, do you think? Rollins. I don't know. Nardwar. And Henry. Winnipeg. Do you hate Winnipeg as well? Rollins. Let me just interject real quick. If it was me and he asked that dumb fucking question, I'd go, yeah, fuck Winnipeg. And fuck you, Nardwar. And then I would go and I get a slice of pizza and I go home. But I'm not Henry Rollins. I'm not in Winnipeg and I don't get to interview with Nardwar. So, like, I guess that's just a daydream of mine. Do what? Not with that attitude. No, you were correct, sir. Not with that attitude. Rollins says, yeah, because the promoter ripped us off, and we actually had to go to his house to get paid, and also some of our equipment got ripped off. And at one point, someone poured a beer into our soundboard, which we really, Nardwar interrupts rudely. Did it have like a Madonna tape? I heard somewhere that someone stole your personal tape deck or pissed on it, and it had a Madonna tape in it. Rollins, seriously? I don't remember any of that. Nardwar, so it was going to the promoter's house and people like trying to destroy the equipment? Have you been back to Winnipeg? Have they survived 7-year ban, Henry Rollins? Rollins, I don't know, Nardwar. I can't remember. I have to look. Nardwar, Edmonton was pretty cool, wasn't it? Like the two 7-Elevens right across from each other? What can you say about that? Yo, actually in this magazine he has a picture of the Generic Drivel zine. That's pretty funny. And the Black Flag scorecard. Oh, I gotta make one of these for other bands. So Rollins says about Winnipeg, Edmonton, not Winnipeg, Edmonton. He says, I'll go anywhere where the people are cool, but if the crowd's gonna be a drag, why should I return, you know? And those two Canadian cities were just a drag. I mean, the people were idiots, and you're just lucky no one was hurt worse. I mean, the promoter, he eventually got all his 4 front teeth knocked out by another Canadian fellow who came to the aid of a band he was trying to rip off. So you had a fellow, I forget his name, a very good guy, young man, who knocked the guy's teeth out. Nardwar. It was cool though, 2 7-Elevens right across the street. You wrote about that in Spin. I'll never forget that. Like in Edmonton, wasn't it? Jeez Louise, dude. This guy is so fucking annoying. Rollins. Yeah, it was great. How many more questions do you have? Nardwar. Oh, just a few. Henry, do you have a brand new record out there? Rollins, you have to hurry. Yo, I'm pro Rollins in this, dude. Straight up, man. I'm on Team Rollins with this. Actually, speaking of hurrying, I'm gonna pause this for a second. I'm gonna go get in my automobile and finish it so I don't have to fucking hurry up. So give me 1 second, folks. I'll see you in the ride. All right. I'll even recap what you might forget. That actually it's gonna be like a split second in the video, so hopefully you didn't forget, because I didn't keep talking and talking and talking and talking and talking. Okay, dudes, we're in the car to finish our article with Nardwar and Henry Rollins. Got my kid with me, so there's no cursing allowed. So if you're thinking about cursing, please don't. Okay.
I can hear you through the screen.
See? Told you. Okay. Where did we leave off? So Nardwar asked him, "Oh, just a few, Henry. How do you have a brand new record out here?" Rollins says, "You have to hurry." "You have a brand new record out here," says Nardwar. Rollins, "You're really boring me." That's awesome. Nardwar, "Now, who else does war?" Rollins, "With me on the track?" Nardwar, "DOA also do war. Vancouverites." Rollins, Nardwar, "Now, with the song War, Chuck Biscuits being from Vancouver, there's legends that he played in DOA, Circle Jerks, and Black Flag all in one night. Do you ever remember that happening? Him playing in all three bands? Chuck doing that?" Rollins, "Not in my experiences, no." Nardwar, "What about Victoria? Do you remember playing Victoria?" Rollins, "Sure." This dude's aggravating. Nardwar, "What do you remember about Victoria? My friend has a great picture of you playing there, putting your finger to your head." Rollins, "I remember it being really nice, and the best time was when we played with No Means No, and they were really good. And I think we stayed at the bass player's house after the show, and they fed us very nice, very well. And I think that's maybe where I met Ron was, actually." Nardwar, "Ron?" Rollins, "Ron Reyes." Nardwar, "Ron Reyes? What about the Canadian Subhumans? Do you remember them at all?" Dude, what? That band is way better than the other Subhumans, by the way. Rollins, "Sure. I used to put them up at my house, my apartment rather, right before I was in Black Flag when I was living in DC. They were on tour with DOA. They all stayed on my floor for a couple of nights." Dude, I've had some bands stay at my house. Every Time I Die, Avenged Sevenfold, As I Lay Dying stayed at my house. So did Time Again, that band I was talking about yesterday. They stayed at my house once. I think some of the guys from Left Alone stayed at my house. Victim 13 stayed at my house a couple times. I mean, I've had a bunch of people. When I lived with Gabe from Pride Kills, the dudes from Blood for Blood stayed over. So I've had a bunch of bands stay at my house. It's pretty fun. A lot of people, though. It gets messy. Crowded. Let's see. Nardwar, "Would you ever consider putting up Chicks Dig It? You know that they have a song, Henry Rollins is no fun." More Canadian content here with Henry Rollins. Speaking to me, Nardwar, the human serviette, because they have that song, Henry Rollins is no fun. And they've been known to prank call Social Distortion using your name. Rollins, "Well, I think that Mike Ness would know that I would never call him without a reason, so that doesn't really worry me." Nardwar, "Apparently he's been fooled 3 times that it's you." Dude, how serious is Henry Rollins all the time, and how just overwhelmingly annoying is Nardwar? Rollins, "Well, maybe Mike will have to straighten me out someday in some parking lot somewhere in America." Nardwar, "Have you had problems with that? You know, like people just trying to hassle you? Like there's a new zine called Stone Grass, and they talk about this girl from Washington, D.C. that said she had sex with you, and that you're shaped like a soup can." Did you hear that?
No.
Okay, good. Never mind then. He didn't hear what I said, so.
Okay.
It's not appropriate anyway.
I guess it's a good thing.
You know, another rumor, soup can cock for Henry Rollins. Rollins, "The last girl I smashed in DC was this idiotic stripper chick who called herself Aura, but I smashed her really good, so I don't know." It's okay, don't listen to me. I'm
pretending I'm not hearing anything.
Okay, good. Nardwar, "Well, when you F somebody for 45 minutes straight without ejaculation, as you have in some of your books." Rollins, "I've never been able to do that. 45 minutes? Nardwar, "But I thought you went 45 minutes, maybe 35 minutes without it." Rollins, "Did I write that?" Nardwar, "Yup. Yeah, you did." Rollins, "Can you quote me on that?" Nardwar, Somewhere in the book in Get in the Van, when you and Joel Cole were at some girl's house, and Joel Cole and in the morning when the girl left, she said some sticky stuff was in her hair." Rollins, "Oh yeah, That's when that girl all of a sudden got freaked out at me. It was the funniest thing. Like, I ran into her again a few years ago, and she hit on me. I'm like, I remember you. No, we're not going there again. And yeah, I came in her hair and then went to the van and slept the rest of the time before we had to leave. I'm a terrible father for doing this. Nardwar. So what sort of girl are you looking for? Like, you really like Amy Mann, don't you? Amy Mann and Diamanda Galas. When Black Flag played in Vancouver a few years ago, Amy Mann opened for Rollins. Why are you so stuck? How old are you? Nardwar. How old do you want me to be? Hold on one second, guys. What's up?
Hey, get out of that car.
No, I'm filming right now. I'm not getting out of nowhere. You gotta make me get out of this car, Tracy. All right, man. See you tomorrow, dude. Back to it, folks. Rollins says, how old are you? And then Nardwar says, well, how old do you want me to be? Rollins goes, dude, how old are you? Nardwar, well, for all intensive purposes, I'm whatever age you want me to be, Henry. But I'm just curious. In 19... Rollins, are you able to tell me the truth? Or Nardwar, I am 30 years old, born July 5th, 1968. Rollins, so you're 30. So, Nardwar, one of the first gigs I remember not going to, but hearing about, was you guys playing the New York Theater, and at the same time, Amy Mann opened up for Rick Springfield. Rollins, I know, I went and saw the gig. Nardwar, so what sort of woman are you looking for? Is it Amy Mann, Diamanda Galas? Rollins, well, my question to you is, why are you asking me about this stuff from 13 years ago? Nardwar, because we're just working up here, because I was wondering if Rollins cuts him off. You only have like 2 more questions until we're done, so you got to make it good. So pick the next 2 questions, so you're going to come up with them, right? So pick your 2 best shots, because we're going to sit here and jerk off all day. No, he says, because we're not going to sit here and do that. That would be strange if he said we're going to do that. No, that's not going to, oh, that's stupid. And we're just going to leave it like that and slump in the chair. Fixed it. Anyways. Nardwar says, well, I was curious about Twink, actually, and the song Do It, because Twink lives in Vancouver. He originally did the song. Rollins, I saw Twink last time I was in Vancouver. Nardwar, and I looked on the record and I saw that there was no credit to Twink on the Texas Hotel release, Henry Rollins. Rollins says, well, we gave them their publishing, Nardwar, but I didn't notice it on the actual record. Really like the version. I like Twink's version, but Rollins says, it says Pink Fairies. Nardwar, not on the version I saw on Texas Hotel. Rollins, but it certainly doesn't say Rollins. Nardwar, no, it doesn't say Rollins, and it doesn't say Twink. It doesn't say anything, actually. Rollins, that's probably a typo. But on the legal documentation, it would say, Nardwar interrupts him and says, do you recently fire your band through email at all, Henry? Did he fire his band through email? That's crazy. Rollins, no. Nardwar, because I heard that you've hired this new band called Mother Superior. Huh. No, says Rollins, I'm doing, well, now remember, you're on your last question. Is that the one you want to ask? Nardwar, no. Well, actually, why don't we run through this one right here for a second? The Raw Power Master Tapes. Actually, you can put this in my ball court. How about I put this into yours? I'll put a whole bunch of questions on the table, and you can pick the one that you like. It can be like multiple choice. There, Henry, how about that? Rollins, okay. Nardwar, okay. Here's the remaining questions for Henry Rollins. A fan gave you the master tapes to Iggy Pop's Raw Power that I thought was pretty bizarre. Which Thin Lizzy song do you like better, Running Back or Southbound? In Punk Planet, you always talk about how you lived in a shed, but Greg Ginn says it's the study. I was just curious about that. I was curious about your SOA demos and whether or not those were going to be released. I was also curious about the best way to bulk up, because a lot of salad bars have been shut down in a lot of places because of the E. coli poisoning. I was also wondering if you've ever worked out with Rocky Erickson at all. I'm also wondering what new tattoos you've got, Henry. I'm also wondering if you get bigger, is it a possibility that you'll be able to get more tattoos actually on your body? So those are the questions that are up there against Henry Rollins, because you say that I only have one question, and maybe perhaps you can pick the ones that you enjoyed most. Or I can recite them again to you, Henry Rollins, here in Vancouver, British Columbia, Canada. Yo, this dude is so wild, bro. I couldn't handle this. Rollins says, well, I think you've got a lot of energy, and the fact that you put all that together, I've got to respect the effort. Good on you, Henry Rollins. Nardwar, and here's a power bar for you. Nardwar gives Henry Rollins a power bar. Rollins says, no thanks. Nardwar goes, okay. Rollins says, but I respect that you put all the time. I'll go and try to address some of it. The raw power tapes were stolen, and we recovered them for Iggy in Belgium through friends, and we returned the tape to New York and gave it back to him. That's awesome. Nardwar, wow, so a fan gave you the raw power tapes? That's wild. Rollins, no. They were in a studio, and we heard about it, and we were in Holland at the time, and our guitar player contacted a friend in Belgium who knew where the location of the tapes was, and we had someone bring them down, and we blue labeled them back to America, and we gave them back to Iggy in New York because they shouldn't be stolen. They're his, They're with him. Let's see, SOA demos. Nothing would ever happen with that stuff. I don't even know where those tapes are. Nardwar, because some of them have been bootlegged? Rollins, sure, well, let the bootleggers have it then. Rocky Erickson, I couldn't work out with Rocky Erickson. No plans to get any more tattoos. Let's see here. Nardwar, the shed with Greg Ginn, because it was in Punk Planet Zine right here. Nardwar puts the Punk Planet Zine up to Henry's lap, and his hand gets pretty close to, oh, sorry for touching you there. Rollins, it's pretty close to the goodies there, buddy. Nardwar, it was, I'm sorry. Rollins, you're touching my soup can, man. Nardwar, that's crazy wild, bro. Nardwar, sorry about that, Henry Rollins, but it said it's constructed like a house. It used to be my father's study, Greg Ginn says in his Punk Planet expose. Yeah, Rollins says, it's a small cubicle square that was stacked up with Mr. Ginn's paintings and his manuscripts and lots of books and his paintbrushes, and had a door hinge to one of the walls that would fold down to a table that could be pushed back up again. I just called it the shed, It was kind of the plaster stucco boy's space. It's still there. Nardwar, it's kind of a study then. Rollins, yeah, sure, I just called it the shed. I never called it the tool shed or anything. But it was where Mr. Ginn used to sit and write, I guess, and do all of his paintings. When I was working on the Ginn's house, me and Dee Boone were building a house for the Ginns on Owasso Street, Since I was doing so much construction work that they told me, well, let's just you can live here, you can sleep here, because I had to walk to the site every day and go to the band practice every night. So I started living in that shed or study or whatever you want to call it, in a sleeping bag underneath the desk. I ended up living there on or off for a couple of years, and it was I was the only one in Black Flag who had his own place to live. Everyone else would sleep in the practice room, so I had it pretty good actually. Nardwar says, what about the Monks? Have they been deleted from your label, Infinite Zero? What's going on with the Monks? The great German beat band. The Monks, Americans, you put them on your label, which was one of the coolest things. What happened to the record? Has it been deleted now? What's going on with your record label? Man, he's so hyperactive and it's just so crazy, dude. Rollins, well, it's been deleted because Warner dropped the label, but we're re-releasing it on another label. Nardwar, do you think the Monks will ever come out as a movie? Because I heard it was optioned as a movie, and you'd be great in that movie, Henry, don't you think? Rollins, I think you'd be really good in that movie, Nardwar. Nardwar says, maybe as Gary Berger doing Monk Stop or something like that. Rollins, you could play any one of those guys. You have a certain charisma, which is undoubtable. No doubt, you have a lot of charisma. I like the character that you're playing. I like how you can turn it on, turn it off. It's cute. Your closing question was? Nardwar, closing question. Fear. Were you there that night they played Saturday Night Live? Were you ever approached to do Saturday Night Live? You've been on the Dennis Miller show tons of times. Yo, I love that Saturday Night Live story. Rollins says, well, yes, actually, Nardwar, because how did Belushi, I was just curious, because using your knowledge, your sit-on-my-face Stevie Nicks knowledge, how did Belushi hook up with Fear? Rollins, what kind of knowledge do I have? Nardwar, the Rotters? That was an allusion to the Rotters? Rollins, you're not being disrespectful to me, are you? Nardwar, nope, I was using the Rotters record, Sit on My Face Stevie Nicks. Tom Holliston of No Means No actually knows one of the guys. He's a big fan of them. Rollins, okay, do I get to answer the question, or do you just want to talk? Nardwar. Nope, go ahead, Henry. Rollins. Okay, you should just interview yourself. Belushi lined up Fear and Black Flag to play on SNL, and I was in Los Angeles working on the Damaged record when my friends from Washington went up there to kind of disrupt the proceedings at SNL. After that, Lorne Michaels saw what Fear did. They immediately canceled our slot on SNL. So we never got the chance to go, but Belushi was a fan of ours. He was a big supporter of both bands, especially Fear. But he liked us too, and he tried to get us there, because he had a lot of pull there, because him being who he is and all, but it wasn't to be. Nardwar. And finally, Henry Rollins. What do you like better, Boys Next Door, the movie by Penelope Spears, or Boys Next Door, the band, starring Nick Cave? Rollins. I prefer the band. Nardwar. All right, we keep rocking in the free world, Henry. Anything else you'd like to add to the people out there at all? Rollins. It was wonderful talking to you, and the next time we do an interview, I'd prefer it if you flossed and brushed your teeth, because your breath is really intense. Nardwar. That's insane, dude. Nardwar. Actually, I ate at McDonald's this morning. That's perhaps what's doing that. Rollins. Thank you for thinking of me. Nardwar. Well, you like coffee, don't you? Don't coffee help you poop at all, Henry? Yeah, I have no idea, says Rollins. Nardwar. And doot. Rollins. Silence. Nardwar says, Henry. Doot. Rollins. Silence. Bangs his head twice against the microphone and walks away. Wow. Man, that was nuts. That's a very long video. Thank you for anybody that hung out the whole time in my car and in my record store when they kicked me out of my record store. So I love you guys, man. I hope you're all having a great day. Nardwar's a weird cat. That dude's a weird dude. I was originally going to do the Dillinger 4 thing, but Colin said that nobody would know who Dillinger 4 was. I disagree with that. So let me know in the comments, Dillinger 4 or Nardwar, who we rocking with in the free world? Doot.